Hi everyone. In this dabbling with database video, we're going to start our discussion of the data manipulation language in SQL Server, or really any SQL database package. Before we actually jump into the data manipulation language itself, we're going to talk about the database we're going to set up in SQL Server that we're then going to use for all of our examples. Let's go ahead and get started. In order for us to explore the data manipulation language, we're going to set up a database in SQL Server. On eCampus, you will find the files that you're seeing on my screen right now. I've got a series of Excel files for the different tables we're going to create in our database. And I have a SQL Server query file that's going to create the various tables and their structures in SQL Server. I'm going to go ahead and walk through this process, but if you're comfortable with creating a database in SQL Server using the create tables that are in the create SQL file and then importing the data, feel free to go ahead and do this yourself. For our database, you'll recall that we log into infodata16.mbs.tamu.edu. Your login is the name that you use in the computer lab, and your password is capital MAYS and the last 4 digits of your UIN. I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new database by right-clicking on the database folder, choosing new database, and the name of the database that we're going to be creating is always going to be based upon our username, a dash or an underscore, and then something descriptive. And for this example, it's going to be CSI. Once you've created your database, it should be empty, but if you click on it, you'll be able to then load the query that I provided to you to create tables. So we currently do not have any tables in our database, but we're about to change that. So I'm just going to go back to where I have all of my files for this CSI database, and I'm going to double click on my query. And let's talk about what I've provided to you. There are a series of tables here, and I've done them in a particular order because some of them do not have any foreign keys, which obviously count on other tables to be created first. So we can create our categories, customers, employees, shippers, and suppliers with no constraints of other tables pre-existing. There are some tables that do have foreign keys, and so they have to be created after the initial tables are created. The products table refers to both the supplier and the categories table. The orders table refers to the customers, employees, and shippers. And then finally, our order details table is basically an associative entity, and it refers to our orders table and our products table. Finally, for one of our future examples, I do create an empty customer table, which will eventually receive just our Texas customers. So it looks very similar to our customers table, but it's going to have a specific purpose for a later video. I'm going to go ahead and run this query by clicking on execute. The result, if we refresh on our database and open up our tables folder, is a series of new tables with the appropriate columns or attributes and the appropriate primary keys and foreign keys. And let's go ahead and prove that by creating a database diagram. I'm going to right-click on my database diagrams folder and create a new database diagram. It's going to ask if we want to add the supporting objects required. I'm going to answer yes. And then I'm just going to add all of these tables. And once you click close, you'll see a diagram created for you. I'm going to rearrange this diagram so it looks a little bit neater than what it does right now. All right, so you can now see the relationships that I've created in this database. Let's go ahead and just talk about it a little bit. Over on the far right side, we've got our customers and our employees and our shippers. All of them play a role in the orders we collect from our customers. So a particular customer places a particular order. That order has been satisfied by a particular employee, and that order is going to be shipped by a particular shipper. so you can see those one-to-many relationships between the orders table and our customers, employees, and shippers. Every order has one or more order details, so that's our associative entity in the middle of the diagram. Every order ID has one or more product IDs associated with it, and for that specific product in that order, we'd have a unit price, a quantity, and a cost. Our products are provided by different suppliers and fit into particular categories. So again, our products are related to our suppliers and categories in a one-to-many relationship for each. And finally, I do have my Texas customers kind of hovering on its own. That table is not related to anything at this particular moment in time. Once you've arranged your diagram the way you like, go ahead and close that tab and go ahead and save your diagram with whatever name you feel is appropriate. I'm going to call this CSI. And if you want, you can also close the create SQL statement. The second step in creating our database is filling in all of the data for our various tables. I will demonstrate this once or twice, and then I will let you go ahead and proceed with the remaining tables. Let's start with categories. I'm going to right-click on that table and edit its top 200 rows. It currently has nothing in it. But if I go back to where I provided the various Excel files, I can open up my categories and I can copy and paste the data that was provided into our empty table. I'm going to click on the gray box next to the empty row, and then I'm going to paste my Excel file. Depending on how large the table is that you're pasting, this may take a few seconds, but eventually what you should see are the various columns and rows filled in for your tables. Let's do it one more time. For our customers table, I'm going to edit the top 200 rows. Then I'm going to go find my customers tables in Excel. I'm just highlighting the data. I am not highlighting the top row. Control C to copy. And then coming back over to our database, highlighting the empty row and pasting. And then give your computer a couple seconds to catch up. You're going to want to do this for all of the remaining tables as well, but it is important that you do this in a particular order. You want to fill in the tables that don't have any foreign key dependencies first. So you can do categories, customers, employees, shippers, and suppliers before you do anything else. And then you can do products and orders. And finally, you can do order details. Order details should be the last table that you populate because it requires the tables on either side of it to be completed first. So just be careful thinking about the order in which you do things, making sure that the primary key exists on the other side of a foreign key relationship, and you should be able to populate all your tables without much issue. Once you've done so, you'll be ready to participate in our demonstration in data manipulation language. That's it for this video. See you next time.